Those of you that are keeping in touch with what's going on around the world know that the world is becoming increasingly more insane in little ways and in big ways. A few days ago in the news, those that are keeping informed, there's a guy that prepared a rocket. He wants to shoot up. I'm not sure what he's going to accomplish with that, but he wants to prove that the world really is flat. Just a mashal to where the Deus B'nai Adam are holding. And the truth is, you know, I don't know what the Rebbe is. You can claim it down here. But the fact of the matter is that trusting ourselves alone as islands, even intelligent people, even people that feel like we're balei seichel and we can understand the world is there's such winds of insanity in the world, there's such trends of insanity that we need something to ground ourselves in emes. We need something to fasten ourselves to an objective, clear emes. We learned recently, the Gemara in Tainus says that even Talmidei Chachamim that learn Torah alone become tipshim. The mistapshim, the Gemara says, they become tipshim. Because in order for Yidden to stay focused on the emes, they need each other. Yidden need each other. People need each other to be able to bounce off each other and to be mechadidim zeh and to converse together and to discuss divrei Torah together. It's a necessity in order to remain focused on emes and to stay focused on what's correct. And for that reason, a day like today is a enormous Kiddush Hashem, and it's a boost for us, not just for today, but it's a boost forward to bring an olam together, to be mechadidim zeh, to sharpen each other, to be mashpia on each other. This Lavan and his family and Yaakov and his family have a running machlekes throughout the parsha who it all belongs to. All of this, the banim, the banais, the tzayin, the avadim, the shvachais, this whole empire that Yaakov Avinu created, who does it belong to? For example, Lavan's children, we know, the Bnei Lavan. So they said, whoever they are, they said, Lokach Yaakov es kol asher le'avinu. Yaakov took everything that belongs to our father. Umei asher le'avinu asa es kol hakavod hazeh. It's not Yaakov's, it's Lavan's. And Lavan himself says that. When he chases after Yaakov, and Yaakov gives him an excuse for running away without telling him, Lavan is teveya him. Lavan says, Habanais b'naisai, v'habanim banai, v'hatzayin tzayni, v'chol asher lecha. Everything that you have, lihu, it belongs to me. It's all mine. So there's this conflict back and forth that Yaakov is saying, it's mine. He's taking it with him. He's leaving the base Lavan with it. And Lavan is saying, not so fast, it's mine. What were they fighting over? What was the machlekes here? Finally, after Yaakov and Lavan meet each other, so they build a pile, they build an aid, a matzeva, and the pasuk tells us that Lavan called the matzeva Yigarsa Hadusa, which is a pile of Eidos in Aramaic. The Yaakov kara loi gal eid. And Yaakov called it gal eid, which is the Lashon Kodesh translation of Yigarsa Hadusa. What is the meaning, the teichen, the depth of the fact that Lavan called it Yigarsa Hadusa and Yaakov called it gal eid? The end of the parsha, Yaakov is heading back towards Eretz Yisrael, and he sees Malachi Elokim. And he says, Machane Elokim zeh. He sees Malachim. So, who are these Malachim? So Zakt Rashi, we know in the beginning of the parasha that Malachim, when he saw Malachim oilim b'yardim bay, Rashi says that the Malachim of Chutz La'aretz were coming to greet him, and the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael were leaving. The Malachim of Eretz Yisrael don't leave Eretz Yisrael. And the end of the parasha, Zakt Rashi, the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael were coming back to greet him. Malachi Eretz Yisrael yatzu l'krasei. The Malachim of Eretz Yisrael came to greet him. Frek the Ramban, the Ramban, says it can't be because Yaakov wasn't in Eretz Yisrael. And he doesn't spell this out, but if the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael don't go into Chutz La'aretz. How did he see Malachim of Eretz Yisrael in Chutz La'aretz? He wasn't there. He was still Vayishlach Yaakov Malachim was still to come. He was still a distance out of Eretz Yisrael. He was still Rachik me Eretz Yisrael. So how can he say that they're the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael? And one more question. We're not finished with Lavan. We talk about Lavan every year by the Seder. And the reason we talk about him by the Seder is because the Yid that brings Bikurim to the Beis HaMikdash every year would speak about Lavan. And he would say over the story of Lavan, he would say, Arami Oived Avi, Vayered Mitzrayma, right? That Arami Oived Avi, Lavan or Arami wanted to kill my father, wanted to destroy Yaakov. Frekter Tzaddik, you're telling the story of Kallah Yisrael. And you're mentioning that Lavan wanted to kill Yaakov, but you don't mention that Esav wanted to kill Yaakov. Isn't that missing? Isn't that a very, very important part of our story? That Esav wanted, I mean, that's what Yaakov was doing there to begin with. What happened to Esav Oived Avi? Why is it just Arami Oived Avi? Why is the focus dafka on Lavan? And the Mahalach, which pulls all of this together in a very clear way, could be summed up by a Gemara that talks about a Malach. The Malach is called the Sar Ha'olam, the master of the world. It's a special Malach called the Sar Ha'olam. And the Gemara in Chulin Daf Samach says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told the Ilanos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told the trees that they should grow only according to their species, that apple trees should produce apple trees and orange trees should produce orange trees, they should grow limineihem, and the grasses, the Deshaim, were not told that. But they figured it out. They were nasu kal v'chaymer la'atzman. They figured out that that's what the Ratzon Hashem is, that they should also be Mesuder, and they also grew limineihem, even though Hashem didn't tell them to do that. Pasach sar ha'olam es piv. The master of the world opened up his mouth, and he said, Yehi chavoid Hashem le'olam, yismach Hashem b'ma'asav. The covet of Hashem should be forever. Hashem should rejoice from his ma'asim. When the Bria, on its own, understands what the Ratzon Hashem is, even when it's not told specifically, when it can intuit, when it can figure out what the Ratzon Hashem is, it's a covet for Hashem. Yehi chavoid Hashem la'olam. Yismach Hashem b'ma'asav. Lavan and Yaakov had a tremendous machlokes. My Rosh Hashiva said these words, which in a way that we don't usually hear him talk. He said that Lavan is the klipa of divrei rishus. How often did you ever hear him say the word klipa? But he said, I have it written down. He said it on a Cholom Beit Pesach about 20 years ago. Lavan is the klipa of divrei rishus. And what he says is that it's in the house of Lavan that Yaakov built his empire. His wives, his children, his nechasim, his avodim, his whole empire. And that's really a world of divrei rishus. And that's Lavan held that all of this is part of his world of tumah and his redifa after Olam Hazeh. We know how excited he was to kiss Yaakov just in case he was hiding any jewelry. We know how roidif after, how lahot after Olam Hazeh he was. It was all about using divrei rishus, all the regular Olam Hazeh parts of the Bria. Marriage, children, nechasim, jobs, all the regular yemei chayil, all the regular things in the Bria, to use it because Hashem gave it to us and let's enjoy it. And Yaakov Avinu says, no, that's not why Hashem gave it to us. Hashem gave it to us to bring it over to the world of Kedusha. Yehi chavoid Hashem li'olam. Baruch hu Elokeinu shebara'anu l'chvoidei. Hashem gave it to us to honor Him with. Rabbi say, I want to read to you this pasuk. You'll see that the Bnei Lavan themselves, I don't know if they knew what they were saying, but the Bnei Lavan themselves say it. This is just unbelievable. The Bnei Lavan say, Vayishma divrei Bnei Lavan leimer. He heard the words of the Bnei Lavan saying, Lakach Yaakov es kol asher le'avinu. Yaakov took everything that belonged to our father. Umei asher le'avinu asa es kol hakavod hazeh. And from what belonged to our father, he made it into kavod. He asa es kol hakavod hazeh. Yehi chavoid Hashem li'olam. Baruch hu Elokeinu shebara'anu l'chvoidei. When it was by Lavan, it wasn't the kavod. When it was by Lavan, it just says Es kol asher le'avinu. But when it's talking about that Yaakov had it, Umei asher le'avinu, also es kol hakavod hazeh. Aramaic Targum is a mundane language. It became Kaddish because it was used for Kedusha. That's the godless of Targum. Lavan named the Gal, he named it in Aramaic, a mundane language. So Yaakov takes that Gal that's named Yegar Sahadusa in Aramaic, the Yaakov Kara Loi Gal Eid. Yaakov brings it into the world of Kedusha. Yaakov names it in Lashon Kodesh. He takes it from Targum and he makes it into Lashon Kodesh. Where did that take place? It took place in Ever HaYarden. Lavan, this whole showdown happened in Ever HaYarden. What's Ever HaYarden? Ever HaYarden is also a place that's Chutz La'aretz. Ever HaYarden is Chutz La'aretz, but what happened to that place called Chutz La'aretz? Yidden turned it into Eretz Yisrael. The Bnei Gad, Bnei Ruvain, B'chatzi Shevet Menashe turned that piece of Chutz La'aretz into Eretz Yisrael. That's the place to have it out with Lavan. That's the place to say that even what's Tchayil, even what's mundane, even what's Divrei Rishus, I can transform into Kedusha. And Memela, the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael, were allowed there. That's Pshat and Rashi. That's why the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael could come there, because it was Ever HaYarden. Because it was an area that will be Kaddish. Because Yaakov Avinu has the power to turn Chayil into Kodesh. Suddenly, with the power of Yaakov Avinu, the Malachim of Eretz Yisrael could extend into Ever HaYarden. A Yid comes and he brings Bikurim to Hashem. What is he doing? He's taking the fruits of his tree. It's Divrei Rishus. He's taking his Divrei Rishus, his wealth, his money, his nechasim. He's bringing to the Beis Hamikdash, and he wants to express that by a Yid, the nechasim Hashem gives me, the Isha Ubanim that Hashem gives me, all the Yanei Rishus that Hashem gives me, they belong on the Mizbeach. A Yid, Yaakov Kara Loi Gal Eid. So he starts off saying, Arami Oived Avi. Lavan started up with Yaakov. Esav is not the issue over here by Bikurim. The issue is Lavan. Lavan started up. Lavan tried to make Divrei Rishus something that we just enjoy, and we don't use L'Shem Shamayim. But Yaakov Avinu, Avi, my father Yaakov, he conquered Lavan. He was Menatzeach over Lavan. And by the way, that's Pshat in next week's Parsha. That's Pshat that Rashi says in Lavan Garti. So Rashi says, it's very famous, everybody asks the question, Taryag mitzvahs shamarti, v'loi lomadati mimaysav haroyim. So everyone asks if it's Taryag mitzvahs shamarti, so obviously, loi lomadati mimaysav haroyim. The teretz is that Lavan had a whole world of maisim royim that had nothing to do with Taryag mitzvahs. It was to use the great things that Hashem gave us for our own enjoyment. That's maisav haroyim, that's not Taryag mitzvahs. So Yaakov told Esav, Taryag mitzvahs shamarti v'loi lomadati mimaysav haroyim. I didn't learn from the klipa of Lavan. I didn't learn from the divrei rishus of Lavan. So that's the beauty of our mission. And when we take a day to spend time being mechadeh zeh zeh, in halacha, in lamdus, in Musar, and to be mechadeh zeh zeh, and to reground ourselves in the world of Torah, in the world of emes, it's an opportunity for us to move forward from here, to walk away from here with a determination to fill the world with kavod shamayim, to take all the divrei rishus that are outside of a beis medrash, all the inyanei rishus, whether it's inyanei habayis, or inyanim of money, inyanim of parnasa, inyanim of leisure, inyanim of time, to take all those inyanim and to battle the lavans in our life, and to take it all and to ground it all and to plug it all into kedusha. And for that, we have tremendous, tremendous hakaras hatov to the yeshiva and to the Rosh Yeshiva for providing all of us, and I want to express a personal hakaras hatov, for providing all of us with a place that we can do that recharging, that we can have that makom to plug in, that we can remind ourselves and be tayim that tam, that delicious tam of Teiras emes and pilpul chaverim, and enjoyment from each other, just the enjoyment of spending time with each other. I know Rabbi Kallah shares this with me, that whenever we watch just the Olam Shmuzing, we get like a little giddy. We just like watching the Olam shmooze. It's just, sometimes we have a hard time getting up to speed because we don't want to interrupt. It's like the opposite. The schmoozing is not interrupting. We feel like we're interrupting the schmoozing. Is that right? You don't want to interrupt the schmoozing. Just the idea of the Olam spending time together. So I want to end off expressing tremendous hakaras hatov to the Rosh Yeshiva and to the Yeshiva for the profound impact that they've had on our lives, on our families, on all the Talmidim, the hundreds of Talmidim that the Yeshiva has produced, and on this beautiful Kehillah, Yarchei.